This is the country of Bulgaria. Known for many things like its cuisine, rich heritage, and long history, Bulgaria is the gateway between Asia and the Western world. It is a cultural melting pot of Greek, Slavic, Ottoman, Persian, and Roman influences. In this second episode, we will talk about the infamous Castle of Veliko Tarnovo and its role in the Fourth Crusade. The Castle of Veliko Tarnovo, more commonly known in Bulgaria as Tsarevets Fortress, is a medieval stronghold located on a hill overlooking the town of Veliko Tarnovo. The site of the fortress was very active before its construction in the 12th century, with the earliest activity at the site being a Byzantine fortress, which served the ancient Byzantine town of Zikideva in the 5th century. Eventually, in the 12th century, roughly 700 years later, the fortress of Veliko Tarnovo was built. Its purpose was to serve the capital of the Second Bulgarian Empire, which ruled the region from the 12th to the 14th century Anno Domino, and was known as the dominant power in the Balkans, defeating the Byzantine Empire and many other opposing forces in battle on countless occasions. Veliko Tarnovo was known at the time as the capital of the Second Bulgarian Empire, and was so incredibly influential and popular that it was considered the new Constantinople, becoming the country's main cultural hub and the center of the Eastern Orthodox religion for contemporary Bulgarians. During the time of the Second Bulgarian Empire, a key event holding great historical importance was occurring, and it was the Fourth Crusade. The Fourth Crusade was a Latin Christian operation commissioned by Pope Innocent III to recapture the city of Jerusalem from the occupying Persian forces. When heading to the Holy Land to retake Jerusalem, the Crusaders' mission was corrupted early on, with several detours by boat from Venice to the Aegean Sea, resulting in the Crusaders laying siege to the city of Constantinople. After the violent pillaging of the ancient Byzantine city, the Christian forces were divided, which dissipated the efforts of the Crusaders' initial plan to take back Jerusalem. The leader of the Crusaders' part of the siege of Constantinople was Baldwin I. Baldwin was the first emperor of the Latin Empire of Constantinople, and also held the title of the Count of Flanders. Baldwin I was one of the most prominent leaders of the Fourth Crusade and commanded many knights during the siege. Immediately after settling down in Constantinople, the Latin Crusaders, led by Baldwin I, crossed the border to pillage Bulgarian towns and villages. The emperor of the Second Bulgarian Empire, Kaloyan, took this as an act of war. When revolts in the city of Adrianople began to happen further north, Emperor Baldwin I marched his army toward the conflict. Baldwin I decided to siege the city, and his forces began weakening Adrianople's defenses. Keen to stop this, the Emperor Kaloyan of the Second Bulgarian Empire arrived with his army and ambushed Baldwin's forces. The Crusaders were met with violent confrontation from Bulgarian forces, resulting in Crusader casualties in the thousands, and the defeat and capture of the Latin Emperor Baldwin I. After being taken prisoner by the Bulgarians, Baldwin was taken to Veliko Tarnovo and locked up at a tower at the top of Tsarevets Fortress. After his capture by the Bulgarians, the fate of Emperor Baldwin was unknown by many. He was treated as a valuable prisoner by the Bulgarians, but after a while, he was left to die in one of the towers of Tsarevets, and met his untimely demise in 1205. After his death, a tower in the southeastern part of Tsarevets Fortress was named Baldwin's Tower, in remembrance of the Crusader knight. The fortress of Tsarevets stayed strong for almost 200 years, until 1393, when the stronghold was besieged by Ottoman forces for 3 months, before finally being conquered and burnt down on the 17th of July, which marked the fall of the Second Bulgarian Empire. Today, Tsarevets Fortress is one of the most popular and important historical sites in the country, and is visited by 500,000 people every year. It is a symbol of Bulgarian pride, and even though the fortress remains as a shell of its former self, restoration efforts have been made with the reconstruction of Baldwin's Tower and repairing of the fortress walls.